75 miles northwest of the Harms Ranch on the eastern edge of Tucson, Gary and Marty Ross live with their 3 young children in a solar home that is as conventional as any in the city.
Well, my typical day would be getting Michael off to school first, and the bus stop is about 2 miles away. And then I get Eric up and take him to school, and then it's back and forth with Kimberly. If we have things to do in town, we usually do all the errands once or twice a week. Living out here, we do a lot of driving.
A few years ago, the Rosses felt that they were outgrowing their house in a crowded Tucson subdivision. Through a friend of a friend, they stumbled upon some land only 20 minutes from downtown, land that came with a magnificent view of the valley.
The sun was starting to go down over Tucson, and the lights were coming on in the valley, and the sky was red, and the sky was just beautiful. And we said, this is where we want to live. As we looked into possibilities with building with conventional power or with solar power, financially it made more sense to go solar.
In putting everything together, we realized that there really isn't any more expense involved in building a home like this than there is a standard house on the grid.
So Gary and Marty had found their new home among towering saguaros on 7.5 acres overlooking Tucson. For Gary, a commercial airline pilot and energy engineer who helped build the house, saving energy was important, but so was saving money. He believes that the solar system will pay for itself in about 4 years.
I wanted to be able to show people that you can build a house the way you want to build a house, have it look nice, have it be totally functional, not give up anything as far as lifestyle is concerned, and also not give up anything as far as cost factor is concerned.
Like the Harms, the Rosses have all the modern appliances of any conventional house.
I have a washer and a dryer and a dishwasher and garbage disposal and everything that everybody else has. You know, people wonder if our TV works, and yeah, you just plug it in the wall.
The 3,600 square foot home draws its power from 36 photovoltaic panels. Storage batteries and a backup generator ensure that electricity is delivered even on cloudy days. The house is built with rammed earth, dirt, sand, and cement compressed into walls 24 inches thick. The dense walls act as a barrier against summer heat. For the Ross children, living in a solar home is an educational experience. Eric and Michael have learned how the solar system works, and their parents have instilled in them a strong environmental ethic.
We like to be together as a family, to do things as a family. You can do that just as well in the city as you can out here, but boy, we did the right thing moving out here. This is the place where we want to be.
I think the older we've gotten, the more we appreciate this earth, and the more we read about pollution and our natural resources being depleted. We weren't trying to make a big statement about how we were living, but it just really made sense to us to use the sun's energy.
If you can't live with the environment and experience it, it's very difficult to learn it. By doing this, by being here, we're not that far out. It gives them a better appreciation for what it means. And this is all the land God's going to make. If we don't take care of it and they don't understand to take care of it, what other legacy do we have to leave our kids?
The kind of world we will leave future generations are what brought Nina Moheat, Tom Broderson, and Ben Mancini together. The 3 are environmentalists and peace activists. Together, they are building a solar home in the rolling hills of north-central Arizona on petty cash and on principle.
The Chinese have a sense of feng shui, which is architecture must be working with the natural elements, wind and sun, a place in harmony with nature.
The 3 met in Phoenix during the mid-'70s. 6 years ago, they bought land near Hootenanny Holler, a small settlement 15 miles northwest of Prescott, and began building their solar home with other people's refuse.
That house is built with lots of reused Arcadia doors and And most of the wood you saw in there used to be Penny's warehouse shelving. And you look at the corners and it says men's briefs, medium, on it, you know. So reduce, reuse, and recycle. Those are sort of the guidelines.
We recycle newspapers, cans, bottles, that kind of stuff. We try to use construction scraps and burn junk mail, and if you don't have to chop down a tree, why do it? If you can use junk mail, it makes more sense.
Though utility lines extend to their property, using conventional electricity was never a consideration. This is a homestead based on principle, a conscious effort to be as ecologically benign on the land as possible.
We're not really going back to the land and trying to live like a century ago. I think what we're trying to do is integrate some of the best things from the past and the best things from the future.
For us, it's been a learning process. Maybe that's one advantage of not knowing a whole lot about building in the first place, is that you learn a lot.
I'm glad I was a Girl Scout. It sort of prepared me for some of this stuff. I think it comes most naturally for Ben and Tom. Ben grew up in a small village in Italy, so he had that, everything you did it yourself. Tom helped his dad build a house. I never met a hammer till I was 25. You know.
But the three friends have all pitched in. It's been a slow process because they've only built what they had money to pay for, and they still have a ways to go.
This house changes every 2 weeks. And we sort of are lucky now that we couldn't afford to build it all at once, because it's going to be much more of the house we want.
After the living space on the second floor is completed, their present living room and kitchen downstairs will be converted into a greenhouse for growing food and heating the house. In addition to providing electricity for construction tools and living, the sun also heats their water and is often used to cook their food. A windmill on a hill above the house pumps water from a well. Every decision they make takes into account the impact that action will have.
What does it mean to live nonviolently? What does that mean? Seeing these connections between peace and then suddenly energy. Countries go to war for energy very often. So suddenly I found this whole new world opening up from peace to energy.
I basically feel like people use grossly too much energy. And we don't so much need new sources as we need to use energy more efficiently and just use it less.
This peaceful spot is where Ben, Nina, and Tom plan to live out their lives. The decisions they make today are decisions they want to be comfortable with forever.
There was a period in my life where I thought the bad guys were always outside, you know, the sort of we-they stuff. Once I figured out that it was partially their problem, but it was also partially my lifestyle problem, I decided, well, something's got to change, personally.